Greetings, everyone. I am David Summersong. Welcome to Why the Experience of Multiple Profound Orgasms in Women Almost Always Leads to Deep Crying, or The Purple Rose Awakens and Flowers. If you are watching on YouTube, you can easily download this and all my talks in an audio format without the slideshow that makes it a video, as well as the PDFs on my website, davidsummersong.org. By local corrupt law, I must state that this discourse is not medical practice or diagnosis in any way, and that I claim no credentials of any kind. All content is my own personal opinion only. First of all, we must clearly define our terms. When I speak of orgasm, I am not referring to the common temporary wrestling match that you have with squirters. Males who ejaculate when they are not engaged in procreation are more akin to monkeys or self-indulgent and self-destructive children, are not real men, and cannot produce in the feminine essence of the goddess a real transcendent experience. The difficulty for females is that they are surrounded by, indoctrinated by, and imprisoned by a globe full of squirters. How is a woman supposed to know what her birthright is as a manifestation of the goddess when she is immersed in and indoctrinated within a weak and degenerate cultural paradigm? The arrogance and presumption of the ejaculating monkey males who are not men, in their violation of the planet and everyone on it through their determination to squirt, is a poor demonstration of consciousness or capability. If, as a female, you have managed to experience some thresholds of momentary relief, excitement, or pleasure in the presence of a squirter, you have at least a small sense of what true ecstatic communication within the divine could look like. Since longing caused the emergence of creation from reluctance, imbalance has existed. Experience had to be had for understanding to occur. Bad behaviors and poor performance on all levels have been part of the learning experience. The portion of consciousness that is currently awakening on a global level has reached the point where there is a potentiality for male essence which has longing and desire to evolve, to emerge into true manhood. The essence of the feminine, which has opened space for the arrogance and presumption of material reality to occur within, has been damaged by the bestial levels of prior consciousness. This essential damage is experienced with an all-female materialization, regardless of the type of creature. In order that consciousness be healed and balance be brought, the adoration of the female is required and desirable. If a male energy is able to evolve beyond self-centeredness and arrogance to the point of perception to be able to see beyond the behaviors and attitudes of individual females and elevate themselves to the appreciation and adoration of feminine essence in form, one will heal and elevate one's own nature in a way that is not possible without unconditional loving acceptance and excitement about the potentiality to nurture and heal the essence of the mother goddess in individualized form. Since the majority of women on Earth do not seem to have any control over who squirts on or in them, the idea of females assessing the process of what is happening to them and considering what they might experience and achieve if they sift more carefully through potential suitors with a new point of view may be impractical. Impractical but desirable. It is possible for an imperative to the global feminine to cause, insist on, and demand a new level of conscious behavior from males that will increase the potentiality of some of them being able to become real men. Real men do not ejaculate forever unless they intend to directly participate in procreation. Each drop of ejaculate is the energy equivalent of 200 drops of blood. Each squirter should at this moment consider the frequency and volume of the blood that they have poured out the end of their squirting organ, and how that vitality could have been used to develop self-awareness, inner strength, compassion, and perhaps the type of true manhood that involves self-awareness and self-control. The squirting paradigm is not one of communication with another or with commingled divinity, nor is it one of worship of the feminine. If a female manages to experience some degree of pain relief and pleasurable relaxation in the presence of a squirter, it is because of expectations that are so low, because women have been taught to beg for and to be satisfied with scraps. Let us look at the level of damage and self-hatred, which is part of the squirter indoctrination called comparison and sexual allure, which causes the global feminine to disparage itself and to destroy itself with chemicals, costumes, behaviors of servitude, self-diminishment, self-degradation, and footwear that causes unattractive, ungrounded, unbalanced, handicap walking. Do you know that the toxic clown chemicals that you smear on your face, covering your natural beauty, were designed to mimic the radiance of a healthy, sexually adored female by a culture of shamed, cowardly males who are not men and who are afraid of healthy, empowered women, but want to pretend through external presentation that they have the vitality to ground their sex slave into robust health and vitality? What are the magic words that will awaken self-respect in the global female? Why do you want to wear high heels to be taller and imbalanced and clumsy and awkward, and then prove you can do all sorts of things on them by damaging your physical structure? To me, this looks like self-hatred rolled up in a comedy song and dance routine and brings me to tears. It's like watching a garden of flowers rip themselves apart and then try to reupholster themselves with petals from other flowers that they think or feel are somehow more attractive than their undamaged potential could have been if they had avoided the squirter male-induced disease of self-comparison. Why should a demonstrated essence of the female goddess on earth, materialized into beauty, compare herself with anyone or anything else in any way? Individual uniqueness in the eternity of space and time is the beauty of individual uniqueness, completely immeasurable and uncomparable. What does it take for someone to get this? In all my other talks, I generally use a giant clown hammer as a preposition. I'm trying to be as sweet and gentle as I can here because this is a delicate moment of cosmic tenderness. The reason that women cry when touched deeply, emotionally, physically, or otherwise is because of the enormous amount of unrecognized and unexpressed pain held within the global feminine essence. It is the blessed opportunity of conscious, divinely inspired male energy to apply unconditionally accepting and loving essence to the global feminine. It goes without saying that were there sufficient real men on earth, the behaviors of the squirters and the violators and the morons who fight would be dealt with effectively, clinically, and instantaneously. What can I do to encourage the manifestations of the global feminine to take action on their own behalf as to the violation of their physical space that they allow or not, without first acknowledging the existence of and longings of their deepest heart space? My desire to ground the energy of global femininity by causing you to realize the incredible chance that you have in this moment to free yourself and your sisters from immersion in squirter consciousness by giving yourself permission to be who you are. Allow me to be the male energy that validates you, witnesses for you, applauds you, encourages you, and if you need it, gives you wholehearted and unconditionally loving permission to occupy my compassionate heart space as who you are now and who you will become as you recover your lost will and increasingly self-validate. The potentiality for you to attract from the continually increasing pool of male conscious essence an individual who has gotten beyond the self-indulgent and self-destructive need to squirt will increase if you are adamant and imperative about your right to associate with a man rather than a child, and do not succumb to children's temper tantrums, threats, demands, or other abusive commentary and demeaning attitudes. This will greatly increase as the balance of your self-will grows and you understand that you deserve better because you have allowed and deliberately bathed yourself in my unconditional loving acceptance and encouragement of your individualization as a being rather than as a receptacle. I continually search the ethers of space and time with the fire and passion of my soul's longing for the feminine being whose magnetic fire is attracted to me. As you can see, my continued building of the gateways of the fires of truth, honesty, integrity, beauty, and aliveness, and my challenge to others to dive through them with passion, has always resulted in stirring the soup, which then, scalding hot, has often been dumped on the messenger. From the kind of commentary I have gained just from the early publication of this lead-in title page, I expect that this dissertation will hopefully produce massive upheaval within the global feminine consciousness and will go viral with the demands of women everywhere to experience something better than the world provided by squirters. If the world suddenly, virally, becomes a nunnery of aggressively celibate females who won't put up with squirters, with their coarseness, their abuse, their nationalistic vandalism of the planet, or their desire to squirt instead of evolve, abrupt and rapid change could occur. I have always encouraged martial arts classes for everyone, especially females. It is one's duty as an individualized demonstration of feminine essence to protect one's boundaries, mental, emotional, and physical, fiercely with whatever methodology, device, or fixture that may readily be at hand. Considering the soft spots of oppositional beasts is a worthwhile bit of education which can allow one more control over their range of choices. Obviously, I am throttling way back my feeling tone around these types of suggestions to avoid being accused by the squirters of some cowardly, squirter-brained, fear-based threat. My distaste for being forced to exist within the jungle of noisy, masturbating monkeys with weapons that shoot off just like they do cannot be expressed away or thoroughly enough to bring me any real comfort. The conscious awakening of the global feminine that would express having had enough of the squirter behavior, of being squirted on and into, and being made to feel that your value was as an effective receptacle, and then taking an action to change things would bring me great delight, pleasure, and comfort. If you read through the material on my website and listen to my other talks, you'll see that the magic of the feminine materialization is woven into both bodies, female and male, in intricate and beautiful ways. You'll see that the sun makes a figure 8 in the sky over the course of the year when viewed from the same place and time daily. You will experience that true commingled communication on a physical level between a born female and male also produces a figure 8 of energy circulation between and amongst the conjoined physical manifestations. The desire and demand of women at large to raise their standards of conscious communication and willing availability or not, can and perhaps will change the demonstration of global consciousness on Earth and raise the possibility of a custodial culture that honors the Mother Gaia and worships her daughters as givers of life, purposes for existence, and deliverers of ecstasy, not from squirting blood, but rather from being elevated by unconditional loving acceptance and honoring to a level of self-awareness that has evolved far beyond the thought, the desire, or the need to squirt. Ejaculation is dumbing down on the way to death. An experience of uplifting and fanning the fires of feminine adoration will carry you into an ecstatic state of consciousness, rejuvenation, endless laughter of delight, happiness, gentleness, endurance, true vital strength, and power. It is said that prostitution, which really means violation and abuse while perhaps being rewarded with a few trinkets, was the first occupation. So from the beginning, feminine essence has been being abused, violated, and misused, and it still puts up with it. Granted, it has gotten much better and the rhetoric much louder. Now that the spark has occurred in the consciousness of the global feminine, I am here to fan the flames. I am here to encourage a global bonfire of truth and purification and the honoring of the divine feminine. I stand before you as the archetype of true manhood, of courage, of strength, of power, and I honor and adore the global feminine with sweetness, gentleness, humility, and gratitude. I constantly affirm my gratitude to the Mother of all, who opens space for the manifestations in which I can learn true purity, clarity, and unconditional honoring and love. I am lifted up by my desire to evolve enough to be worthy of ultimate goddess manifestation in my life. I suggest this as a pathway for those male essences who have been diminished and confined within the world of the squirters, and whose longing brings forth within them a desire to evolve. I have a design for an environmental community whose only byproduct is water vapor. I have been discussing this with endless souls who pour onto and off of this earth since 1952. I am ready to produce this community as soon as the persons who wish to assist in building it and occupying it decide to contact me because of true heart's desire. It is my intention that this community will function at an evolved level wherein consideration and consciousness will be the determining factors. My website is available to educate interested persons in a unique path of evolution and acquisition of true manhood. To those squirters who are insulted by my rhetoric, let me assure them of my absolute delight with their response and refer them to my history in the World's Strongest Man contest and undefeated status in over 1,000 occasions of playtime in Fight Club in 83 countries. Squirters should know that I have consistently used my strength and ability to protect my sisters from the abuse of the squirter mentality and attempt to educate both females and males about what they are missing by being animals instead of people. I suggest to angry, violent squirters that to save themselves pain, they do themselves in rather than address me directly unless they justify the paperwork, because I am very displeased by the clowns and buffoons in large military hats and political guises that promenade themselves as necessary, useful, or justified. The outrageousness of monkey male behavior on this planet has reached a crescendo, which, were I able to take action on a wholesale level, would cease instantly. Apparently, to get my way, that is, the way of honoring the goddess, creating the garden of the goddess on earth, and finding true love, will require some assistance. Will you, as a woman or as a lover of women, act on my behalf to change this planet and to distribute this message? If you do, you will experience the results of the awakening and the blossoming of the purple rose. What will be your choice? Will you nurture and encourage the awakening and blossoming so that the aroma of the vitalized feminine form permeates the world and the universe? Or will you stand by, or perhaps lay by as a receptacle and continue to let it wither? How the greater future unfolds is dependent on your choices, and a non-choice is a choice. Close your eyes and breathe into the future of Gaia Earth. What do you smell?